it was a very careless, selfish play. And Evgeny Malkin has got to resist doing it.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but what is the NHL punishing guys for? I mean, is that smart? No. Is it stupid? Yes. But is that what you saw right there, hitting somebody in the mouth? Is that like risking their career long term? Of course not. If that type of play where Sidney Crosby takes a cross check in the back of the head, in the neck, that happens a lot. Mm-hmm. And guys never get 4-game suspensions for it.
And that's why I say the officiating sucks. Because it does.
But I think that's way more dangerous. That, to me, blood is obviously, it's more grotesque. Everybody sees it. But that play that we just saw, that does no damage to the player's long-term ability to play hockey. He goes and sees the dentist. He gets stitched up. He gets more fake teeth. If I was running the Department of Player Safety, I don't love that play. I fine a guy for it, but I don't look at that instance and say, this is a black guy to hockey, and guys are like maybe losing their careers and their ability to make a living over something like that, Bob. And they turn a blind eye to those types of plays all the time.
Well, not all the time. I think they're getting better at it, but still, you can't do it. He shouldn't have done it. And I think the word even though it has happened less frequently, is get under his skin a little bit and see what he does, and he'll put his team at risk, and he can't do that. Let's go to the lines, Andrew. We got a lot of people here who want to talk, beginning with Bob in Washington. Hello, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
How you doing?
Good. What's up, Bob?
Hey, Bob.
I got a hockey question. If a player gets 2 goals during regulation and it goes to shootout, and he scores, it's not a hat trick?
No. Overtime would be, but not a shootout. Different category. Thanks for the call, though. Moving along, let's go out to Matt in line 1. Matt, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I got 2 questions for you about the Pirates today. Number 1, Cole Tucker and Kevin Newman. You think they're guys to keep in the lineup? Because obviously, Cole, he's not off to a hot start hitting-wise. Fielding is pretty good. Kevin, we know O'Neal Cruz, real hot AAA right now. He's a stud. And also about Brian Reynolds' comments today, you think, he's a guy that, wants to come to the Pirates if they want to extend him, or what?
It's all about money at that point with him. Thanks for the call, Matt. But I will say this. Hopefully a guy, to me, Newman is just, it's a placeholder. He's been a good defensive player, but obviously Peguero is the guy I think are looking at shortstop. Andrew, am I wrong there? Because I think O'Neal Cruz is headed to the outfield, and it's good to see Diego Castillo play. I don't want to see young guys play.
Well, I think Tucker and Newman are guys that are first-round disappointments. Mm-hmm. Based on where they were drafted, I just don't see the long-term trajectory that those guys are going to be everyday players and successful major leaguers. So I think that's part of the Huntington regime. When we look back on it, that's where they started to really go belly up, when guys like that were picked highly and don't amount to much. And, I thought when Reynolds and the Pirates went to arbitration, I thought that was a clear sign that these guys were really not a match that was made for marriage. I thought that was dating each other. You do that with somebody. Bob, you go on a date with someone, you go Dutch, you split the bill.
That's a terrible habit. You don't do that. That's the whole thing. If it's a Dutch date, come on now. You don't want to go there.
But if you do, if I say, can we get separate checks, that's a sign that I'm really not that into you. We're not looking at marriage. We're not looking at spending the rest of our lives together.
Let me ask you this. Yes? Bob Nutting came out and said that he didn't like how this was going. So this is, I think, 6 days ago that comment was made. If he doesn't like what's going on, he's the boss. He's the guy who's making all the money. He can stop it. And yet it goes on.
Yeah, and that's one thing. I know Bob talked today. That is one question. If I were in there, I would have very respectfully asked him about what you just said.
Sure.
So what are you doing about it? I mean, is that something where you look at there being a long-term, not a 1-year or 2-year stopgap deal, but something close to what you just did with Keep Ryan Hayes? So that's the Pirates' dilemma. That was a good move for them to lock up Hayes at that price. But I still would say right now that Reynolds is not going to be with the Pirates long term.
And I thought Bob Nutting, he didn't talk at spring training. He should have had his own separate thing. Don't couch it with Kid Brian Hayes sitting up there, because he should have answered questions like, why did you vote yes on this ridiculous CBA? Because it helps you in no way. It makes it harder. There are a lot of questions that he needs to answer that he hasn't answered. Let's go out to Matt and Butler. Matt joins us here on the Bordas and Bordas Hotline. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, guys, I agree with everything you just said on Nutting, but here was the point I was going to make. In the third inning, I do not understand why they don't have Cole Tucker bunting. They got to get the guy to third with one out, and then the shot deep into short scores the run. Mm-hmm. I cannot understand why the Pirates will not work on that with these guys, and that's the head coach.
I don't disagree with you on that. I think that's a very good observation.
Especially they're playing small margin to begin with, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we see that in the playoffs. We don't really see that in the regular season anymore. I think that's a very astute observation by a diehard Pirates fan. Bob, I want to point out, I was at the game today. I was at our nice 93.7 The Fan box, and I went and saw Joe Manganiello after the game, and I just wanted to pass on to you what a huge fan he is of the work you do. He was there with his dog, Bubbles. I don't know how he gets a dog into PNC Park.
He was at the hockey game with Bubbles the other day. I texted him and I said, how did you get that dog in?
And it was not a pup night. And I've taken Cammy and Poppy to pup night. But there he was with the dog, and we had a nice conversation afterwards. And he's petting the dog the entire time. It's a little bit awkward, is it not? When the guy is there, and you're trying to have a nice back and forth about the Steelers and everything else, and he's petting his mini dog.
Yeah. And I told him, did you try that off-speed pitch for your ceremonial first pitch? Because it looked awfully lollipop-y.
Did he have Bubbles in hand when he threw the ball?
I don't know.
I mean, that's tough to do.
That's always good when Joe comes back. He is a diehard Pittsburgher.
And what if Bubbles used the field as a bathroom? Would that be an issue?
No.
I mean, there's a ton of questions.
Did he have a plastic bag? Did he have a plastic bag to pick it up? Because next year you can't have a plastic bag. You know how that goes. Anyway, we got to take a break. We're going to take a break. Come back with more calls at 412-575-2600. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.